Hello everyone. Now we are going to study about JavaScript. Now what is JavaScript? JavaScript is a programming language of HTML and the web. JavaScript was initially created to make web pages alive. The programs in this language are called as script, and also it is called as scripting language, right? It is a high level, often just-in compiled and multi-paradigm. It has curly bracket syntax, dynamic typing, prototype based object orientation, and first class functions, right? So alongside with HTML and CSS, JavaScript is one of the core technologies of World Wide Web. JavaScript enables interactive web pages and is an essential part of web applications. The vast majority of websites uses it for client-side behavior, and all major web browsers have a dedicated JavaScript engine. So let us continue with the next slide. As you can see, there is an image over here, one that says HTML, the second image that is HTML plus CSS, and the third one that is HTML plus CSS plus JavaScript, right? If you use HTML, it is just like a skeleton for a web application, but if you use HTML and CSS, it is quite good. It is better than HTML. But if you are going to use HTML plus CSS plus JavaScript, your web application would be much appreciated by all over, right? So it is a very important part of client-side programming. Now, why name JavaScript? Does it belong to Java? Does it belong to the founders of Java? Well, absolutely not. JavaScript, when JavaScript was created, it initially had another name that was LiveScript. Now, but Java was very popular at that time, so it was decided that positioning a new language as a younger brother of Java would help JavaScript, right? So this does not relate to any Java founders or does not relate to Java itself. So this is a complete different script altogether. But as it evolved, JavaScript became a fully independent language with its own specification called ECMAScript, and it has now no relation to Java at all. That's what I told you before. Now, the recent standardization of JavaScript is ECMAScript 6, right? So today JavaScript can execute not only in the browser but also on the server, or actually on any device that has a special program called as JavaScript engine. Now, just like HTML and CSS, JavaScript will not run directly. JavaScript requires a dedicated JavaScript engine which will be already pre-installed in your web browsers, right? But in HTML and CSS, you don't need any JavaScript engine, or you don't need any HTML engine. There's nothing called HTML engine and CSS engine. All these things are pre-built in your web browser, right? So, but if you want to use JavaScript for your client application, you have to have JavaScript engine, and which is already pre-installed in your web browsers. Now, browsers has an embedded engine sometimes called a JavaScript virtual machine. Now, different engines have different code names. For example, if you are using a web browser, Chrome and Opera, you have an engine called as V8 JavaScript engine, right? If you are using Firefox, the engine name is called as SpiderMonkey, right? There are other code names like Trident and Chakra for different versions of Internet Explorers. Chakra Core is for Microsoft Edge. Nitro and Squirrelfish is for Safari, the Apple product, right? So all these are the code names for JavaScript engine. Different browsers have different engine. Now, we are going to start with our JavaScript fundamentals now. So let us start. The script tag. This is the most important tag. Now see, when you are doing an HTML or CSS program, you don't need a script tag, right? You just write your code within the tags, just like anchor tag, h1 tag, h6 tag, paragraph tag, division tag, right? In CSS, you guys used style tag as CSS, right? When you put style tag and then later you did your CSS styling over there. But if you want to use, since it is a scripting language, if you want to use JavaScript on your client application, you should use script tag. You can see JavaScript programs can be inserted in any part of HTML document with the help of script tag. Either you can include it in the head section, you can include it in the body section, or if you don't want anything in the body or before the body, you can include it after the body as well. So script tag is very important here. Now let us see how do we add a script tag in our HTML program. I am in my code editor now, so I am going to add a script tag. For your understanding, better understanding, I am going to add script tag in the body, just like you add style, just like you should add script tag like this. So whatever you want to put your JavaScript commands, all these things should be written inside this tag. So this is called the script tag. Now what you can do is you can copy it, you can paste it after body as well or in the head section as well. So JavaScript allows anything, so you can do anything there, right? So this is how you can include the script. Now what if you are using any one JavaScript code or two JavaScript code, you can directly include it in your HTML program. But if there is a lot of JavaScript code which has to be written in the HTML document, it would be very difficult for a programmer or for a scripter to understand what exactly is happening with the code. Just like how in CSS we had internal style sheet, we had inline style sheet, and we had external style sheet. The same way we can include our script tag, we can give a source to it, and we can create a new file called as something like javascript.js. .js is used to specify that this particular program or this particular file is a JavaScript file. So you can include that in your HTML by just adding this simple statement, that is script source is equal to the path of the script and close the script tag, right? If you have a lot of JavaScript code, we can put it into a separate file. Script files are attached to the HTML with the src attribute. So let us see how do we do it in our code editor. Now what if I had some different, maybe I had some 100 lines of code in the script. Now I cannot put it in the HTML one. Why? Because it will be confusing for all the people. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just close all of this, because I'm gonna create a new script here, that is new. I'm gonna put it as basic.js. Now .js is used for, it specifies that this is a JavaScript file, right? So whatever you want to code, JavaScript code, if you want to code, you can write all of these things in this file, but here you should have to mention the script. For example, you have to mention script source equals, you have to mention the file name there, that is basics.js. Now once you do it, just close the script tag. So what does it do now? It tells you that the script will be copied from this file for this entire HTML page. So this is how you can include external JS file. So this is where you can write your JS commands, and this is how you have to include that file. So I hope you guys understood. Or if your script is somewhere online, maybe you have stored your script somewhere in the online, maybe Google Drive or anything like that, you can use a content delivery network to access all those things. Now there's an example of a content delivery network which the Cloudflare which will give you the access of JS files. You can directly add the source of it and you can use it in your programs, right? So we can give a full URL there. Use several tags to attach multiple script. Now there are different ways of doing it. If you don't want it to be external one, you can add two different scripts. The same way you can give some different file names, right? If there are so many external JavaScript files, you can add all those things by using different script tags. As you can see here, there are two script tags which have been given, and the source of it is script1.js and script2.js. Just like this, you can add hundreds of script files, right? Yes, I am here in my file. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna create one more called as labs.js, and if I want to add one more thing, I'll just copy this, and inside this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the name. So like this, you can add hundreds of script files in your HTML program. This works just like the CSS where you add style. Here instead of style, we are going to add script here. This is very important. You guys should understand this. Let us move on to a very important topic of actually where is JavaScript engine, right? So let us open a web browser and see where we can find JavaScript engine. As you can see, I'm in my web browser. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go here. I'm going to go for settings. Yes, I'm in settings now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to search for JavaScript, right? There are many different options which will be available for you guys. So what you can do is just go here and you can search for JavaScript, or go to advanced. You can go to accessibility or system, right? You have different types of availability here, right? Once you go here, you can see so many options available. You can disable your JavaScript engine also. You can add your JavaScript engine also. Now I'm going to show you how to do that. So in the settings, what I want you guys to do is you can go to privacy and security here. Now after going to privacy and security, you can find advanced button here. So when you click on advanced button, you can find so many options which are available. So instead of finding it, it would be a very difficult job to find it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go here and add content slash. So if I do this, my contents will be opened here. So when you go here, when you scroll down, and you can see there's something called JavaScript. When you click on this, if I block it, it will be blocked. That means you cannot run any JavaScript files, but when you allow it, you can run all the things. So this is where exactly your JavaScript resides. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to new tab. Now where do I actually execute JavaScript commands? So very simple way to execute JavaScript commands is just go right click on inspect here. So once you click on inspect there, you can find so many options which are available. I just showed you the box model, the CSS box model is available here, the code is available here, right? We don't want anything. This is the elements. We don't want this elements to be done. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to console, right? So ignore all of this. I'm going to clear all of this console, right? So there's something console, right? This is a terminal for JavaScript. So what you can do here is you can actually type in your code and execute all the JavaScript commands, right? So what we are going to do now is we are gonna type some commands and check all the JavaScript, but before that we are gonna understand few important fundamentals, right? So let us go back to the PPT. The first thing which we are gonna learn is comments. Now as time goes on, programs become more and more complex. It becomes necessary to add comments which describe what code does and why. Now when you are doing a website, when you are creating your own website, now what happens is there are thousands of lines of code and it will be very difficult for you to understand which code does what, right? So that is why we are going to use comments, where we are going to use comments. That comments will not be displayed on the web page, but instead it is only for your reference. That will not be displayed on the web page. Now comments can be put into any place of a script. They don't affect its execution because the engine simply ignores that. When you use a command, the JavaScript engine ignores it and it is only for your reference. It will not be posted on the website, right? One line comments start with 2 / characters. The rest of the line is a comment. It may occupy a full line of its own or follow a statement. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to check how do we do comment. So I'm in my code editor now. So what I'm going to put here is I'm going to add script tag once again, and here I'm going to add comments. Now this is the comment section. You can add something, maybe you can add something here, hello here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and see the output of this. Now variable ccc hello will not be displayed. So let us check the output. This has become a comment. This is only for our reference. As you can see the output basics.html. This is the basics.html. If I see the output here, there's nothing. There's nothing. Why? Because this is taken as a comment. Now this is a single line comment. So now to do multiple line comments, you can use this, right? You can use write something, then you can come and you can just close it like this. Now if you go and say the output once again, it will not be displayed. So this is a multi-line comment and this is a single line comment, right? Yes, this is the multi-line comments. Multi-line comments start with a forward slash and an hashtag and end with a hashtag and a forward slash. The output I already showed you, right? So the next thing is interaction. Now how do JavaScript engines or JavaScript commands interact with the user? Like there are three main options, that is alert, prompt and confirm, right? So let us check what is an alert. Now this shows a message and pauses script execution until the user presses OK. Now this will be whenever you use this command or whenever you use this JavaScript command, this alert message will be shown in your web browser. So let us check. As you can see, the last comment line is here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove it. This is the output page and you can see the output, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use alert. This is the syntax of alert. Now I'm going to put hello world. Now end it with semicolon. This is inside the script tag because this is a JavaScript command. This is inside the script tag. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to control save and see, you can see the output, it says hello world. So it shows the output here. This is a alert message. When you click OK, it vanishes off, right? So this is alert. If you want to give any other name as well, you can just give hello, control save it, and you can see the output called hello. So this is how you can use alert. And there's one more way of doing it. You can use window.alert. Now when you use window.alert also, you can use hello world here. I'm just gonna remove this because there's two URLs. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove this. Now I used alert, then I'm gonna use window.alert now just control save and you can see the same output, right? So you can use both the commands if you are writing a script in a HTML file, right? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go and do the same thing in the console. Now I'm in the console here. Now I'm going to do the same thing and let's check the output. Again, alert, hello. Again, when you click enter, it will display the alert message. So you can check all the commands over here and do your programming based on that. Or if you want to do it in your HTML file, that is also fine, right? You can do it. And here if you do window.alert, you can see the output here, right? Now again I'm gonna go and check all these things once again. Window.alert, hello world. You can see the output called hello world. So this is also a place where you can do your JavaScript command. So this is what is alert message. I hope you guys understood what is a alert message and how to do that. The next interaction command of JavaScript is prompt. The function prompt accepts two arguments. Now remember, it accepts two arguments, but in alert it was just a text message, right? So it shows a modal window with a text message. Modal window, that is what is the alert message. It shows a modal window with a text message and an input field for the visitor and the buttons to OK and cancel, right? So title, now what is this? Can you see the syntax over there? Result is equal to prompt of title default, right? The text to show the visitor. Now in the title you can put the text that will be displayed in the alert message. In the default, that is an optional parameter if you want to put. Now if you put any number or any text over there, it will come with that message, and also there will be an empty box and the text will also be there in it. It will be like a pre-filled form, right? If you use a default, that is if you use the second parameter, if you write something there, it will come as a pre-filled form. So that is what you guys must understand. The visitor may type something in the prompt input field and press OK, or they can cancel by input by pressing the cancel or hitting the escape key. Now the call to prompt returns the text from the input field or null if the input was cancelled. So what do you mean by this? So let's take an example and understand how we can perform prompt command. So I'm in my code editor. You can see the output screen here also. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove all of this first. Now I'm going to use let a, this I'm going to explain to you later. So what I'm going to use is a. So what was there? Prompt of title, right? So what I'm going to put how old are you? So this is a mandatory field, but here it is a optional field. So what I'm going to give it as 23, again semicolon. So now prompt we have used, right? So when I click Control A, you can see there is a pre-filled form which says 23, right? When you click OK, it vanishes off. But what I want to do is, once it tells 23 here, once it accepts 23 there, so what I'm going to put here is, I'm going to put alert message so that it should tell my age. So what I'm going to put again, alert of my age is dollar, open the variable which I've assigned here. Then after that, I'm gonna go and check the output, right? Remember, you should put the not normal comma. You have to put this special kind of comma there, right? Then only your program will work, or else no, because you are prompting from this message. So that is why you have to use that one. Here you are going to use the normal comma, but here you are going to use the special comma, right? Go back and check the output. You can see it says my age is 23. So that is how you can use prompt here, right? So we have created a variable here, and this variable will be displayed with the number which I have given in the default here, right? If I go and change it as 25 also, control save. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back again, control save. It says 25 0. Okay, it says 250, right? It is taking an input. It is taking an input. If I don't give anything here also, it is taking an input. Now go back again, go back. It is asking for a number now. What I'm going to give, I'm going to give 30 now. 30. Once I click 30, okay, my age is 30, right? So this is how you can use prompt, and you can enter the data and you can retrieve the data using alert command. Now you can see there is also the example here, let age is equal to prom, how old are you, just like how I did it. Here it is 100 and the same thing is displayed over here, right? So this is how you can use prompt. So the next thing is confirm. Now what is a confirm? The function confirm shows a modal window with a question and two buttons. Now what are those two buttons? OK and cancel, right? If the result is true, if OK is pressed, the result is true, or if you press cancel, it is false. So for that, what I'm going to use, I'm going to use this code, right? So what does it say? Let boss is confirm, are you the boss, right? If you press OK, that means you are the boss. So let us do this. Yeah, we'll take an example of how to put the confirm here, right? So what I have here is I've declared a variable called result, and I've used this confirm here, right? Confirm, are you the boss? Now if you are the boss, then it is true. If you press OK button, the true will be appeared. If you press cancel, then the option will be false, right? So I'm going to control save it. You can see the output, are you the boss? Click on OK, it says true, right? Once again I'm going to do it, OK, and it says true and OK, right? So control now, when you click cancel, it says false. Now OK. So this is how you can use confirm. Now alert, prompt and confirm can be used in any type of cases, like any particular type of cases, right? So if you want to create a login ID and a password, then it asks you whether are you the boss. If you are the boss, if you click on OK, it will go to the next page, right? You can do something like that using all these three things. So that was about interaction with alert, prompt and confirm. So this is the example of the alert just as showed you now. So now we are going for an important topic called variables. Now I know many of you know what exactly is a variable, but before proceeding, I'm going to tell you what exactly is a variable and we'll understand that, right? Most of the time JavaScript application needs to work with information, right? Here are two examples. Now online shop, information might include goods being sold or a shopping cart or goods being added or the price, right? All these things must be stored in variables. Now variable is something whose value changes according to the time, right? Now variables, for example, 1 second a variable will be different. In 1 more second the variable might change, right? All these things are used to store this information. And one more example we have, that is chat application. The information might include users, messages and much more, right? When you're using a chat application, the information basically includes the user. To keep the count of the user, you require variables. Now variables are used to store this information, right? So we can easily grasp the concept of variable if we imagine it as a box for data with a uniquely named sticker on it. Can you see a message box over there? Now for instance, the variable message can be imagined as a box labeled message with the value hello in it. Now just imagine you are storing a variable called hello inside a box. Now we can put any value inside this box and we can also change it as many times we want. Why? Because this is a variable. The name itself says that it varies with time. So if you want to change the message with world, what I can do is I'm going to just make the message is equal to hello, then the variable will be completely changed. Now the old variable will be gone and the new variable will be stored inside that box, right? Now when the value is changed, the old data is removed from the variable. That's what I told you. A variable is a named storage for data. We can use variables to store goodies, visitors and other data. Now whatever counting is, wherever the counting is required, we can use variables over there, right? So variable naming. Now how do we name a variable? Now there are a set of few rules which we must understand for naming a variable, right? So there are two limitations on variable names. You can use any name, but there are two limitations on variable names in JavaScript. First limitation is that the name must contain only letters, digits or the symbol dollars and underscore. Apart from this, you cannot use any other special characters. Only letters, digits, symbol, dollar and underscore. Apart from this, you cannot include a different special character over there. Then the second limitation which we have in variable naming is the first character must not be a digit. Yes, this is important. The first number should not be a digit. You cannot give a variable name such as 1 variable 2, 1 variable 3. You cannot give something like that. The first letter should always be a character or a underscore or a dollar, not a number, not a digit. Okay. So when the name contains multiple words, for example, if you want to store the details of a person, now what I'm going to do, person details. Now we can use camel case over here. It is commonly used. Now what is a camel case is that for every new word there will be a capital letter. It starts with a capital letter. As you can see, my V is capital, L is capital, N is capital, correct? So for every word you cannot give spaces in the variable. Remember, you cannot give us spaces in the variable. That's why we use capital letter for every other word and we'll merge it so that it will be a variable, right? So there is a list of reserved words which cannot be used as variable names. Yes, there are few JavaScript reserved words such as script tag, such as so many things are reserved words. Now we cannot use those reserved words for our variable names, right? So for example, var, class, return and function are already reserved. You cannot use this as your variable names. Now modern day scripts support the keyword var and let. You can use both the things. Whenever I did the program of the confirm and prompt, I used let, right? So variable and let, all these things can be used. Any two of these things can be used. However, variable is preferred than its, because it's straightforward. Now variable var, it represents the variable. Variable car is equal to Audi. Now this is also equal to let car is equal to Audi. Now because variable sounds perfect and it is direct, straightforward, we are going to use var, right? So let us see how to declare a variable using the console. Now I am in the console, so I'm going to declare a variable now. Variable var x, right? So if I declare, the variable is declared, but we have not given any values over there, correct? That is why we are getting it as undefined. So this is how you can declare a variable. Now again I'm going to declare a variable, that is using let, let y. So I'm going to declare one more variable, but still it is saying undefined. Why? Because we have not given a value for it, we have just declared it, that is why. So variable we can use var x, also we can use let y, that is let y. Now to define a variable, what we can do here is we can just write variable var x equals 10. So now, variable x equals 10. Now if I do it, now the variable num is defined. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to print it. So how do we print it? Console.log of the variable name. If I do it, the 10 will be displayed here. This is used to display the variables or anything in the console. Now if you want to give a text, you can also give it like console.log of hello world. Now if you use this as well, you can print hello world here, right? So you can use console.log to print it on the console. Now I've already defined let y, right? So let y is equal to 20. So I have already defined it. So how to make sure? Okay, now I'm going to use it at alert of y. So I should get an alert message saying 20, right? Did you get it? Alert message, it says 20 here because I have used alert of y. Y is already defined as 20. So here you can see 20 has been displayed. Now let us see how do we do it exactly in the script tag. Now I'll go to script here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this. Now you can see I'm going to remove this first. I'm going to use variable x equals 10. The same thing, I'm going to close the console. I'm going to do it in the editor now. Variable x equals 10, alert of x. Now if I do it, control save it, you can see 10 will be displayed here, right? I'm going to put one more, that is let y equals 20. Now instead of x, I'm going to put y. Now the answer should be 20. Now I'll go here, control save, you can see the answer is 20. You get an alert message called 20. So this is how you can do variables. Now inside variables also you can add it, multiply it, right? So let us see an example of how to add it. So to add it, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one more variable called c. C is equal to, I've already created x and y. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do x plus y. So here x plus y, it adds, it is 30 and 30 is stored in c now. Now I'm going to display c here. Now control S, you can see the output 30, right? Now again what I'm going to do, I'm going to put 10 here. Again I'm going to put minus here. So again I'm going to display it. You can see it says minus 10. Now if I want to multiply it, it is very simple. Just go here, give this, multiply it. It is 10 into 200. It gives you 200, right? You can also give integers. You can give decimal. If I give 1.0 and 2.0, the answer would be 2, right? So 1 into 2 is 2. Now here what I'm going to give is, here I'm going to give it as 3.0 and here I'm going to give it as 4.0. Now the answer should be 12. So if I go there, just go here, just click on, you get your answer, that is 12, correct? So you can use decimals, you can use number system here, you can use any types. Now also you can use the text also. I'll show you how to use a text now. So let me remove this. Yes, I'm going to use let x. X is already defined. So as z is equal to use text, you have to put inverted commas. So hello world, right? So I'm going to give a semicolon. Now I'm going to put z here. Now see the difference. You are going to get hello world. So if you are using a text, you have to put this inverted commas. So let us check if we get an output if we don't put inverted commas. If you don't put inverted commas, it shows you an error. So that is why you have to put a inverted comma here. So that is when you will work. Now can you see the output? You are getting this output called hello world. Now there are different types of variables. Now you can add integers, you can add decimals, you can add anything, right? So that is how you can use variables. And the same thing if you want to do it in the console, just I'm going to go here, inspect, then console, clear it. Now again what I'm going to do, variable x equals 10, next variable y equals 10, what I'm going to variable c equals x plus y, right? variable value has already been declared because we did it previously, right? So what I'm going to give some different name now. Variable A is equal to 20, variable B is equal to 30, right? So again, variable C is equal to A plus B. Now it is already declared. See, I have already declared, so I'm going to use variable D is equal to A plus B. If I do this, if I want to display it, just alert of D, and see it is 20 into 30, 20 plus 30, it is 50. So it is like this, right? You can also do variable E is equal to A into B, right? If you do this, A into B, now you can directly display it using console also. Console.log of, I'm going to put E, and you can see the output here. So 20 into 30 is 600. So this is how you can use variables in JavaScript, and I hope you guys understood, because this Y was already declared previously. That is why we couldn't declare Y here. So that is how you can do variables in JavaScript. Now we're going to look at constants. Now constants and variables are widely used in many applications, right? Now constant is nothing but whose value does not change, whose value never changes in any program, right? So declare a constant variable, we use const, C-O-N-S-T. Now variables declared using const are called constants. They cannot be reassigned, and attempt to do so will cause an error. Yes, I told you already that constants cannot be changed. Now variables, the opposite of variables is constant. Now as you can see here, const is used to define a constant variable. Now variable, and it is included with this text. Now this cannot be changed. You cannot change. This will cause an error. Now you can see there is a widespread practice to use constant as aliases for difficult to remember values. They are not known prior to execution. Such constants are named using capital letters and underscores. For instance, let's make constant for colors in so-called web hexadecimal format. We are going to store the colors in a hexadecimal format. That is why we are going to use constant. Now color orange is much easier to remember than this, right? So it is much easier to mistype this. So what we are going to do, instead of using hexadecimal directly, we are going to create a constant variable, and we can use that constant variable in our program. So let us see an example of how to declare a constant and how do we get the output. So I'm in my console now. I'm going to create a constant, that is const space. I'm going to put as, maybe I'm going to put it as TechWed labs is equal to welcome. So if I do this, semicolon, now constant is declared. Now if I have to display it, I'm going to use alert of TechWed. You can see TechWed labs. Now can you see welcome is displayed now? Why we welcome? Because welcome I have already stored as a constant. Now if I go and check, if I want to change it, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put TechWed labs is equal to hi. Now if I do this, it shows an error. As you can see, it showed an error, uncaught type error, assignment to constant variable. Assignment to a constant variable cannot happen, right? So that is why it is a difference between a variable and a constant. In a variable you can change the values anytime, but in a constant you cannot change the value. You guys have to understand it first, right? So this is how you declare a constant. Now if I go back to my script tag in the code editor, even I can do it from here also. Now what I'm going to do here is, let me do this first. Yes, I'm going to close this, and I'm going to close all the variable declared. Now I'm going to declare a constant. Now constant, what I'm going to put, labs is equal to welcome to the course. Now what I'm going to put here is, I'm going to put this. Again, I'm going to put alert of. Now the console.log doesn't work here, because that console.log is only for the console, not for the script tag here. So here inside this I'm going to put what was my name? It was labs. So alert of labs. If I go click refresh, you can see welcome to the course, and when you click OK, it goes, right? You can use constants for this. As I told you, you can store all these values in your constant. So the next topic is data types. I already told you that we can use any type of data type, but we'll go into the detail of what exactly data types are. Now, variable in JavaScript can contain any data. A variable can at one moment be a string, and at another it may be a number, right? You can define variables, you can change entirely. You can, if you have given a variable name first, which stores string, and later if you want to modify it to the number, you can also do that, because in variable you can do everything, right? You can change all the things there. So number, now number type represents both integer and floating point numbers. Now there are many operations for numbers, example multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, and so on. I just showed you the output of all those things before, right? Besides regular numbers, there are also called special numeric values, which also belong to this data type, called infinity, minus infinity, NaN, right? There's so many numbers systems available, you can use all those things, right? Now the string, a string in JavaScript must be surrounded by quotes. I already told you, whenever you include a text, now text is also called as a string. If you include that, there should be a double quote or a single quote. Now the three types of quotes can be used. One is double quote, one is other single quote, and one is backtext. Right, now backtext we already used in alert command, where we displayed prompt, right? You know, remember all these things. There are three types of things. One is double quotes, one more is single quotes, and one more is backtext, right? So this is what is string. Now double and single quotes are simple quotes. There are practically no difference between them in JavaScript. Backticks are extended functionality codes. Now I told you, extended functionality codes means they allow us to embed variables and expression into a string, right? Now if you put alert message and if you put double quotes and single quotes inside that, you cannot include any variables, you cannot embed any variables or expression into that string. But instead, if you use backticks, you can include the variables and expression into that particular command or into that particular script, right? Here you can see an example. I have declared a variable called name John, embed a variable. How to embed a variable? Alert of backtick. We have used a backtick here, hello, and it says hello John, right? So you can use all this thing. You can also include the expression also. Let us see an example of how to do it. Here I am there. I'm just gonna close all these things. Now I'm gonna put let name is equal to, I'm gonna put my name first. I'm gonna declare a variable with my name. Then I'm gonna put alert of, I'm gonna select backtick now, not the normal quotes. I'm gonna select backtick. Now in the backtick it should say hello and dollar and flower bracket open, and it says it will embed the variable there. I'm gonna put name and close the backtick. Now again semicolon. Now see the output, it says hello Nitin, right? But if you use a single quote or double quote over here, if you use a single quote or double quote over here, now I'm not getting my name. Why? Because this proper double quotes and single quotes will not embed your variables. To embed your variables, we have to use backtick. Now just like this, you have to include backtick. Again control save, you can see my name over there, correct? Right? If you want to include a variable inside it, for example, if you want to include a expression there, so first before that I'm going to create a variable x equals 10, then I'm going to create variable y equals 20. Now I'm going to add variable, instead of variable I'm going to add alert of backtick of number is. Now I'm gonna add expression x plus y, right? Again backtick close, again comma. You can see, okay, I have used the hello name, so I'm gonna remove this first. Now control save. Okay, once again I'm gonna do it. Control save, you can see the number is 30. Why? Because it will take the expression, complete expression over here. But if you are using a single quote or a double quote here, I'm just going to show you the output of it. If I use a double quote or single quote, now if I save it once again, you can see it is directly printing this. It is not printing the expression. right? So to print the expression, I'm going to use backtick here, right? So this is how you can use. If you press OK, just control save it, you can see number is 30. So this is how you can use JavaScript commands for doing all these alert messages. You can use all these things, right? We just learned about string now, how to use a string within double quotes, within single quotes, and within backticks. Now you can see the example here. Now Boolean type has only two values, now true and false. This type is commonly used to store yes or no values. Now Boolean only has two values, that is true or false, yes or no, 1 or 0, right? If yes, it is correct. If 0, it is false, and false means no, incorrect, right? Now how do we do it? You can see that let a variable name is declared is 4 greater than 1. Is 4 greater than 1? Yes, it is greater. So alert is greater. So now true. Now what happens is when it is true, the displayed option will be true. So let's check an example of how to do it. So I'm in my code editor now. So I'm going to remove all these things. Previously you have done all these things. I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to declare a variable now. Variable is greater equals 4 greater than 1. So if 4 is greater than 1, I have to alert is greater, just alert it. Now control S, you can see it says true, right? Now if you give a different number here, maybe you give 5, now what happens is you will get false. Why? Because it will tell it is not greater, 4 is not greater than 5, hence it is false, right? If I give it a 0 here, 0, and check the output once again, just check the output once again, you can see that it says true. That means 4 is greater than true. That is how you can use Boolean values. Yeah, null data type. Now what is a null data type? A special null value does not belong to any of the types described above. That is 100% true. It forms a separate type of its own, which contains only the null value, Null means nothing. In JavaScript, null is not a reference to a non-existing object or a null pointer like in some other. It is not a reference to any non-existing object, or it is not a null pointer. It is just a special value which represents nothing, empty, or value unknown. The code above states that the age is unknown or empty for that some reason. Now var age, we have created a variable called val and you have installed it as null. So that means there is nothing and it is empty. Now undefined. Now what is undefined? A special value, undefined, also stands apart. It makes a type of its own, just like null. Just like null, this is one more special kind of data type. The meaning of undefined is a value is not assigned. The value is not assigned, right? If the variable is declared but not assigned, then its value is undefined. We previously saw undefined, which was flashing in the console, right? We'll just go back and check once again. Now what I'm going to put, I'm going to declare a variable h equals 10. You can see undefined, right? So this undefined means it is not defined, right? And it is declared. Now variable h undefined, variable y undefined. Now it says undefined, but when you call that variable, you can see the difference. Now y is undefined, it says undefined, right? But if you call variable h here, it will say variable. Now if you call variable h, it says 10. Now can you see it? Now here if you declare a variable, maybe I'm going to declare variable g is equal to 2000 here, right? But variable I am going to declare nothing. So variable I, just declaration. This is definition and this is declaration. But if I call variable I now, it says undefined, right? But if I call variable g now, it says the number, correct? So this is how undefined can be used in JavaScript, right?